Hello, welcome to Just the Dis. We talk about Blu-rays here. My name is Brian, and we are still in the thick of the Vinegar Syndrome Black Friday sale. I already put out one video about it. I just thought I would throw in a few more recommendations. These are kind of, they're not high quality cinema, but they're entertaining cinema nonetheless, and films that I enjoy. As I recommended previously, I have at least 2 or 3 other videos recommending Vinegar Syndrome titles, and I linked those in my previous video. But I have a few more that I didn't talk about in those, and I'm just going to run through these real quick. This should be a short one. I know you guys are having a busy weekend and don't have a lot of time for videos, but in case you didn't pick up Death Promise during the sale, I do recommend this one. It is a crazy movie, and that rat is an indication of one of the kills in the... All right, I'm going to give it away. I'm giving away one of the kills in Death Promise is a guy gets a bag put on his head filled with rats. That is the kind of thing you're dealing with in this movie. And so this one is about the residents of a dilapidated New York tenement building, and how they're being harassed and threatened by their, the landlords, and they, end up getting really pushed pretty hard by these landlords who are some serious criminal types, and they decide to fight back. And so it's kind of like it's like a lower budget backyard kung fu kind of action movie, but it's got some really good action. Obviously the choreography is not, top tier, but it is charming in and of itself, and I really enjoy it. So this one is just a blast. It's got some crazy stuff in it. As I said, the rat bag kill and some other things. Definitely has that 70s sleaze New York feeling, and it's just a lot of fun. So Death Promise definitely, I believe, is on sale and is highly recommended. Next up, Rush Week, which is, not the greatest slasher ever, but if you're a slasher fan like me, I think it's worth picking up. This one is from the late 80s, I think, 89. So it's late cycle slasher, and it's an on-campus one, and it has nobody. Pamela Ludwig, is in this. Pamela Ludwig from Over the Edge, who I love. And yeah, this is, she's a young journalist working for a college newspaper. Tired of covering the same boring stories as her peers, Tony becomes intrigued by the recent disappearances of several female students and believes that they may be linked to an on-campus murder that happened the previous year, etc., etc. So she's investigating. It's on campus. It's sororities and stuff like that. I don't like it personally as much as Final Exam, but I would say it would make an interesting double with Final Exam. And of course, it's newly scanned and restored in 2K from 35 Interpositive, has interviews with actor Dean Hamilton and Courtney Gebhardt, and a commentary track with Hysteria Continues. And it's just a solid, fun slasher, if you're into that. And in keeping with that, I also recommend Silent Madness, which is another 80s slasher that is unique in that it was originally released in 3D, and this version includes both a Blu-ray 3D version, which if you have a 3D TV is the ideal way to watch it and makes the movie better for sure. But there's also an anaglyph version and a standard version, 2D. But yeah, this one was really rare for a long time and comes with these nice Silent Madness anaglyphs. And yeah, it's a fun one. This one is about sort of a mental institution that has some issues where they accidentally release a mental patient because of a similar name to another patient who died, and this guy gets loose on a nearby college campus, and one of the employees of the hospital goes to the campus and pretends to be a newspaper person so she can try and investigate what's happening. Meanwhile, he's killing off co-eds and so forth. And yeah, it's fun. And again, in 3D, it's pretty much a blast, So if you can do 3D, I do recommend it. But it's a really solid one for slasher fans. So you have two slashers, Rush Week and Silent Madness. And then, okay, now we're going downhill. Surf 2, this one is pretty silly, very 80s, and has to do with, a beachside community, and kind of their surf obsession, as well as a crazy cola company called, I forget the name of the cola now, Buzz Cola. And they're kind of manufacturing this cola in this weird industrial oil plant near the beach, and kids that drink the cola turn into zombies. But again, it's just like a goofy 80s hangout comedy combined with that. It's like really, truly not like any film you've ever seen, although it has these elements of 80s movies, an 80s soundtrack and a surf soundtrack, especially because what's included here is the director's cut of the film, which is what I watched. I'd previously seen the theatrical cut, which is also included, but the director's cut is apparently significantly different, and I've heard better than the theatrical cut, because apparently they shot this film, and the CAA was all high on it and said they could, were sure they could sell it to a major studio, which apparently didn't happen that much in terms of independent productions in the 80s. At least that's what the director is saying in the commentary with Brad Henderson. But anyway, it is super goofy, fun, silly, and it stars a young Eric Stoltz. It stars Eddie Deason. It stars Terry Kaiser from Weekend at Bernie's. There's some other familiar faces here, but it's just super cool that it includes that extra version. And it's got a ton of great features. So this is a really nice release of Surf 2, a movie that, outside of VHS, really hadn't seen a lot of release previous to this. So if you're into goofy 80s comedies, like me, Surf 2 could be your jam. Okay, just a few more things here. We have some 4Ks. These are from Gunpowder and Sky. I'll start with Awaken, which is just this beautiful, not quite a travelogue, but it's from executive producer Terrence Malick. And it's like, Baraka or Koyaanisqatsi, where it's just sort of a visual, poetic thing where you're seeing different, rituals and different countries. It's narrated by Liv Tyler, experiencing immersive imagery, beautiful cultures, and an inspiring message. Awaken explores humanity's relationship with technology and the natural world. Shot over a 5-year period in more than 30 countries, the film pioneers state-of-the-art time-lapse, time dilation, underwater, and aerial cinematography techniques to give audiences new eyes with which to see the world. And it's got a commentary. But it's beautiful, especially in 4K. It's absolutely stunning. Reference quality stuff. So highly recommend Awaken if you want a beautiful 4K experience. Also from Gunpowder and Sky in 4K, a cool, low-key sci-fi narrative. This movie, Prospect, with Pedro Pascal, Sophie Thatcher, and Jay Duplass. Pedro Pascal from Mandalorian. Teenage girl and her father travel to a remote alien moon, aiming to strike it rich. They've secured a contract to harvest a large deposit of elusive gems hidden in the depths of the moon's toxic forest, but there are others roving the wilderness, and the job quickly devolves into a fight to survive. And it's really cool. It's one of those movies that's obviously done on a low budget, but they're able to production design it in just the right way to make it believable and interesting in this sort of funky, DIY kind of way that doesn't feel entirely cheap. It works. I can't explain it. But really solid, and again, a beautiful 4K from Gunpowder and Sky. And then last but not least, we have one from Utopia. This is a documentary, Martha, A Picture Story. And this is about Martha Cooper. And I'll just read the back here. In 1970s New York, trailblazing street photographer Martha Cooper captured some of the first images of graffiti at the time when the city had declared war on it. Decades later, Cooper has become an influential figure to the global movement of street artists. In 1997, the Bronx was burning down. No one really wanted to write about the graffiti that was interesting. That was an interesting thing. But I don't want to shoot something that's done with permission. It's outlaw art. That's what makes it thrilling. So we follow her around, in 2020, and she is a fascinating lady. And she just took some great photography at the time, and now she's continuing to do that. And so we're seeing what she's working on now, new graffiti. She's going on little commando raids with graffiti artists who are like fully masked up and have their voices changed because they're doing something illegal. But she's like, this older lady going out doing it. She's just so inspirational. And I was really moved by this. I just thought it was really fascinating documentary. So highly recommended. Martha Picture Story. That's it. That's all I got for this round. But hopefully you're enjoying the sale and picking up some fun stuff. Just wanted to throw in a few more recommendations. Anyway, have a lovely weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.